Chapter 4. The Lines. Daniel took care not to dislodge his new earring as he pulled on the Batman pajamas, which he was probably too old for, and began brushing his teeth. The earring was special. Madison had given it to him so that they could talk no matter where they were. It didn't work very well yet. They both had to be in extremely quiet places to hear anything. Madison would solve that problem eventually. She always did. Madison had said that the earring would improve his communication skills. He argued, via texting, that his skills were fine and in fact superior to his fifth-grade peers. The fact that he rarely spoke simply meant that Daniel had grown impatient with small talk. Speaking is for the exchange of information. Anything more is just a noisy waste of time. Daniel hummed the happy birthday song to make sure that he gave the task of brushing his teeth the exact and proper amount of time. Daniel spat, wiped his mouth with a perfectly removed paper towel, no rips or missing corners, and noticed the toothpaste tube. There is a point at which a tube of toothpaste is empty enough to be thrown away, even though, with some extra effort, there is enough remaining in the tube for a few more brushings. Most people would have thrown it away at that point, but he wasn't most people. And he didn't waste toothpaste. This tube, he realized, had passed that point and was now well and truly empty. The wastebasket was off to his right, slightly behind him in the corner of the room, close enough to just throw the empty tube. Daniel felt the urge to do so. He was a 10-year-old boy after all, but throwing it carried the potential of a miss, and an hour of scrubbing to get the bathroom properly clean again. Instead, Daniel turned to his right, stepped over, dropped the empty tube in the basket, and turned again to the right, arriving back at the sink. After this full 360-degree turn, Daniel had once again accidentally untwisted his lines. Since there were no people or squirrels in the bathroom with him, Daniel would not have noticed this, except for the monopole magnet attached to his earlobe. It was making the invisible lines visible. Daniel noticed them in the mirror. Along with his reflection, there were 3 faintly glowing lines emanating from his head. They weren't there a second ago, Daniel was sure. He leaned slowly side to side to see if the lines were on the mirror's surface or just reflected by it. They moved along with the image of his head. Not on the mirror, he thought. Even the most prominent one was still very faint. It ran straight up from the top of his head to the ceiling. The others were fainter and left his head at 90-degree angles from the vertical one. He stared at his image in the mirror and tried to puzzle out what they could be. Maybe the light makes a difference. He reached to his left to flip the light switch. His bathroom didn't have a window, so complete darkness engulfed the long, narrow room. The lines, whatever they were, had gone out with the light. He flipped the switch again. The lines returned. Remembering that the workshop bathroom downstairs also had a mirror, he ran down the hall, turned left onto the stairs, left at the bottom of the stairs, and left again into the bathroom. No lines. Daniel began to suspect he had imagined the whole thing. Madison and Ryan were in the workshop in mid-conversation, but stopped when Daniel exited the bathroom. "Hey, buddy," Ryan called over to him. "I was thinking we could go fishing this weekend." Daniel glanced up at Ryan, but said nothing. "I know a spooky spot down by the river," he added hopefully, but Daniel turned to leave without a response. "We're working on that," said Madison with a wink. "Keep trying. You'll get through, although I don't expect he'll ever be Chopsy." Her tone changed to mock indignation. "And why don't you ever invite me fishing? I love fish." "Oh, I don't eat them. I hate fish," he said. "I always catch and release." Daniel carefully retraced his steps back up to his bathroom. He anxiously looked in the mirror. The lines had returned. He struggled to contain his excitement and to remember what he was doing just before they appeared. He looked at the sink, still wet from brushing his teeth. A fresh tube of toothpaste was behind him in the cabinet. Daniel knew this with certainty, having memorized the inventory of clean towels, unopened bottles of shampoo, soap, and other supplies. Due to an odd architectural choice by the builder, this bathroom was long and narrow. The toilet and trash can occupied the far end. The sink and bathtub sat midway on opposite walls. The only storage cabinet was behind the door. Daniel turned to his left, moved the door out of the way, opened the cabinet, found the toothpaste, and finished the full left turn to step back to the sink. The lines were gone. His heart sank. Was it the toothpaste? He laid it carefully down on the counter. Nothing. The lines were still gone. Maybe it has to be farther away. He performed another full left turn, replacing the toothpaste in the cabinet. Still no lines. He stared at the mirror, trying to remember what they looked like. There were 3. They all seemed to start at his head. They were at 90-degree angles to each other, just like the 3 lines that come together at the corners of the ceiling. 3 dimensions. Could that be it? Daniel walked slowly backward, retracing his trip to the cabinet, completing a full turn, but to the right this time. Still no lines. Wait, I did that turn twice. This time, he didn't bother walking backward. He just crouched for balance and did a quick spin in place on the slippery floor. Daniel stood, and there they were, glowing faintly in the mirror. He tried a turn to the left. They were gone again. Another to the right, and they were back. A new turn to the right, and the vertical line was brighter. A few more turns, and it was no longer a faint, wispy thread, but a distinct, vibrating white line. The corners of his mouth made the slightest effort toward a smile. He immediately went to his desk to document what he had just witnessed in his pocket-sized orange engineer's notebook, and to write a blog article for his website. Only after the event was thoroughly documented did Daniel share his discovery with his sister. "Madison," he called. The earring vibrated at the sound of his voice. Its paired twin on Madison's ear vibrated in perfect synchronization. The sound was faint, but she felt the buzz and stopped what she was doing to listen. "I can hear you, Daniel. Go ahead," she said.